Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today I have a really cool case study interview with a successful Amazon seller who I've gotten to know over the last little while and is a part of our world here at Marketplace Superheroes. I'd like to welcome Jesse. How you doing, Jesse?
Hey, good. How are you? Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you, sir. So first of all, you've got a lovely background there. Where are you in the world? I know where you are, but no one else does.
So I'm based in northern Thailand, and I've been here for about the last 3 years. And originally, I'm from the Northwest in the United States.
That's awesome, yeah. And you've got a family there too. You're not like on your own, partying every night or anything.
No, definitely not. No, yeah, I've got a family, so
Yeah, yeah.
we're down here. Yeah.
I think that's cool though, because a lot of people like they don't think they can travel when they have a family or whatever. And it's cool, like you're living a really cool lifestyle. So to talk about that, obviously selling on Amazon is one of the businesses you run. You run a couple of different businesses. I thought it'd be cool to talk about, first of all, how did you get into selling on Amazon? Like, you're obviously in the States at the time, or maybe you weren't, I'm not sure. Tell us the background to that.
I started my Amazon business a little over 2 years ago. And the reason that I started it was because one of my other businesses, which I still currently operate, but less and less as I do my Amazon business more and more, I run a marketing agency. So when I moved, we wanted to be location independent. So we thought we'd always had dreamed about living in Thailand. So we just sort of went for it at one point. And I figured I'll just do the best that I can to continue operations on my marketing agency. And I'm still doing it, and I was doing it. But when we moved to Thailand, as you know, the time zone is really different from the U.S. to Asia, almost completely, 12 hours apart.
Yeah.
So I was, when you have a marketing business, you are on a lot of conference calls. So I was up in the middle of the night on conference calls a lot. And I started to think to myself, this isn't sustainable. And I wanted to do less conference calls and work towards something that was more location and time zone independent. So I had heard about, selling on Amazon, and I had sort of always thought it sounded interesting. But when we moved here, the motivation for me was those late night conference calls to really start to research it and look into seeing if it could be a viable business.
That's great. And so how long did it take you to kind of like go from, okay, it's something I want to do, to getting into researching things and finding products and all that good stuff? Was it like, I think a guy like you probably doesn't think about it for too long. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, well, so I'm trying to think. I guess it took about, once I started reading a few blogs on the internet, and then once I decided I was into it, I spent like maybe 1 or 1.5 months just really studying it. I ordered a couple audiobooks, and I just consumed all the free content I could find online. And then I just decided in about a month and a half, I was just going to go for it.
Very good. And again, just for everybody watching, Jesse is definitely, we'll talk about Marketplace Superheroes in a while, because you do actually utilize a lot of our stuff now, but to start, you didn't. And that's absolutely cool. I think that's great. So, okay, so you're consuming. How many products did you start with your business? Did you just start with one, kind of dip your toe in the water, or did you go a bit harder at it?
Yeah, so I started with one product with a few different color variations of that product. And this is funny because I got lucky on my first product. I somehow sort of, what I thought was an educated guess was more of a lucky guess. And so I got a little bit lucky and a little bit cocky with my first product. And then I quickly ordered like 4 more products, all which were complete failures. Like I had to destroy most of the units.
Oh, God. And I suppose that taught you the power of a research methodology then, right?
Yeah.
I guess one of the big things you've taken away from what we do, you were saying to me that it's the research methodology is important. Let's talk a bit about that. Like, why do you feel that it's so important, or maybe even the approach you've learned from us? Like, what do you think is good about it as an experienced seller?
Yeah. So, like I said, I had, I felt before I found your course and your methodology, it was hard for me to make a, I felt like I was guessing every time I ordered a product. Yeah. And, ordering the right product is the key of either, you know, making money or losing a ton of money. And so, you know, I think it's, along with many other elements, it is one of the most essential, you know, things, product selection that there is for this business. So, you know, so for my business, you know, I like I told you, I got lucky with a couple products, but you know, after I went through learning your methodology, I feel confident now, very confident that I can pick successful products each time. So I think it's, you know, I know I told you this when we talked earlier, but I think, you know, the way that you guys detail out your methodology is it's so detailed and it's so precise. And if you really study all of the content that you guys put out, there's no way that anyone, you know, could really fail on picking a good product. It really works.
Yeah, no, and I remember I was driving my car chatting to you a while back about that, and I remember when you said it, I was like, you know, that was it's a big deal. That's a big deal for people, I think, because one of the reasons people struggle in any business to pull the trigger, it's that confidence, right? Like I've never done this before, so seeing is believing and all that, right? And so I love what you're saying, because it's true. Like, and I think it's something we don't talk about enough. Like, when you go through the process, you do the work, the product's going to do something. It's going to do something. It's likely just going to even just sell out. And maybe it takes you longer than you thought it was going to take to sell out, but it's going to sell. It's not that it's not going to sell. And I feel like what you're saying as well is very true, because I've done it before myself. When you're guessing, you don't feel like you have a methodology, you do end up in a situation where maybe you do have to dump products or whatever. I've certainly done it before. And Robert, you know, we've literally, you know, oh yeah, the supplier also makes these, let's bring in some of them, right? And then it doesn't work out because you didn't do the work, you know. So your business nowadays, like, I mean, we don't grill people on this channel, as you know, about numbers or anything, but whatever you want to share in terms of, like, how many products are you selling now? What does your business kind of look like fast forward 2 and a bit years later?
I think before, you know, I discovered, you know, your course, I was selling around 10 products. And then over the last year, since I've followed the superheroes methodology, I think I've added about 20 new products.
Oh, holy crap. Yeah, you've not met your end.
I'm really cranking on it.
Wow.
And yeah, so, you know, the business it's growing really fast. You know, it's as you know very well, this is a extremely cash intensive business.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's you know, there's a lot of cash investment required to add that many products. And
oh yeah.
But now that I've, you know, experimented with the product research methodology, I feel, like you said, I feel really confident that isn't a guess, and it's actually an investment. And at the very, you know, worst case scenario, I'll sell out, but I just wouldn't reorder. So it's never going to be. So it feels like a really safe investment. And so, you know, I'm super excited because as of the numbers right now, 2021, the business is on track to be doing 7 figures. So I feel good about it. And another thing about this business, which is really interesting, as you know, is sales metrics are one thing in this business, but, you know, profit is a total another thing. So you really have to, just a word of advice to anyone who starts.
Exactly. Because if you're doing $1 million, let's say, in a year, like, you're bringing in, best in the world, about 300 grand before corporate tax, and probably a little bit less, like, when you take in a couple more expenses here and there. So that's where you're at, like, you know, and that's normal. You know, I think the problem with a lot of other places, you know, it's like they talk about 65% margins. And I'm like, what does that mean even? Like, I mean, what are you talking about, you know? So yeah, you're right. Yeah. It is true. But there's that too, Jesse, I think, and this is something we can certainly help you with down the line as well, is like your winning items. That's the thing. The nice thing about your winning items is you can potentially look to fund those. Where it's something Robert and I are building a fund for stuff like that. So that's just a side note. We might be able to help you with some of that, you know, because if you've got items that are doing well, like, you know, it's good. We've found it. We didn't do it early enough in our careers. We didn't get the winners funded because they're winning. So they're selling, you know what they're going to do. So why not get somebody else to pay for it, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm super excited. I'm actually trying to transition out of my older business and into this Amazon business, full time. And I'm actually doing it mostly full time right now because I just love the business. I think it's super fun, and I love how the ability where you can be anywhere in the world and just sort of crank away on your own time. And
Oh, it's huge. And are you currently selling in just.com right now? I think are you selling in other countries too?
No, I followed your guys' advice, and I started a UK limited company, and so I've just started launching some of the catalog there, and plan to expand out into Europe, and then also soon I'm going to be heading into Australia as well.
Cool.
So.
and have you launched a little while in Europe? Because I can never keep track of everybody. Is it going well for you? Basically, is what I'm asking. You're picking up some sales.
Yeah, to be totally honest, starting out on .com, I was really comfortable with all those specifics, and I've just launched a few products in the UK, and the learning curve has been a little bit steep for me there. There's been some success, but definitely some differences. So I'm still sort of like wading through a little bit of mud there. I wouldn't say I'm quite successful yet in UK, but I see the potential, and so I'm working towards that.
Yeah. Well, once you get established and set up, like, it's good, and it'll work then. It's like everything. We had to go the other way, we had to go from Europe to the US many years ago, and it was the same. It takes a little bit of time to get your listings established and things like that, and make sure your keywords are correct and stuff. So that's a pretty much a standard, but that's great. So overall, it's really inspiring story yours is, Jesse. We have, and the thing I will also say, just for everybody watching, is there's a lot of people like Jesse in our community. I convinced Jesse to share his story, I should say. I just said, look, man, you'd really inspire people, because we've loads of people a little bit like Jesse there, really killing it, doing really well, building a really serious business. But at the end of the day, for people like you, Jesse, you're running the business, right? So why would you spend all your time jumping on videos and whatever? So I really appreciate you doing this, because I know a lot of people are going to come away today feeling very empowered and like, wow, this is really possible,
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like too salesy, but I do want to give you guys props where props is due. I just want to tell everyone that it's pretty amazing to have such a complete collection of resources. Like your course offers the core material. I mean, you guys literally outline from A to Z what it takes to run a successful business. So there's no reason that anyone out there couldn't digest that content and start their own successful business. So I'm really grateful to you guys for putting that out. Truly, I mean, it's been like the backbone of my own business, and it could be the same for anyone that wanted it. So thank you guys.
Thanks a million, Jesse. We really appreciate it. And as well, for everybody, there's lots of other stuff out there, as you guys know. We can help you with your freight, save you a ton of money there, and translations and everything in between. So it's a real partnership. So I look forward to working with you for many years, Jesse, and helping any way I can. And thanks a million for coming on today. And everybody, jump down below, give the video a like, and say thanks to Jesse for giving his time today, which he didn't need to do. So thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Steven. Take care.